The Mets kept pace with St. Louis, a dream pitching matchup to White Gooden against Fernando Valenzuela. Both look sharp. Gooden going 9 innings, striking out 10, and Valenzuela pitching 11 innings, striking out 5. There was no score. Headed into the top of the 13th. Runners on first and third for New York. Darryl Strawberry hits a 2-run double just inside the left field line. That scores Keith Hernandez and Wally Backman. The final, the Mets win 2-0. So here are the standings in the East. The Cardinals lead by a game and a half, and you have to wonder who's going to blink first. The Cardinals have won 4 straight. The Mets have won 5 in a row. The Dodgers in the West by 7.5. The American League East, Toronto by 2.5 over the Yankees. And we'll return as we await the Dodgers and the Mets in just a moment. He has 5 home runs in 2 games. He has 25 on the year, and he's with Joe Garagiola. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Bill, and we're standing next to one of the hot hitters in baseball, Gary Carter. Gary, why are you seeing the ball so much better?
Well, I don't know, really, Joe, other than the fact that I've got a comfortable stance now. I feel confident at the plate. I'm seeing the ball outstandingly, and it's just the greatest groove that I think I've ever been in my career. But I've had so many different stances this year to try and compensate for the knee and all the other little injuries, and right at this point in time, I feel very comfortable. Bill Robinson has helped me a great deal, and when I'm going up to the plate, I'm seeing the ball good, and I hope it lasts forever.
Gary, the mental aspect in a pennant race is tough enough, but with the situation in Pittsburgh, drugs all over the paper, last night one of your stars, Keith Hernandez, did not start because he was testifying. What effect has that had on the ball club?
Well, the effect, obviously, was we didn't have him at the beginning of the game or in Wednesday's game in San Diego, and missing Keith out of the lineup is a big loss because he's such an outstanding first baseman, a great hitter, and a great leader on this ball club. It's a shame that this has been all rehashed again, and I know it's bad for baseball, and it's bad for, I think, for the younger generation to look at what's transpiring here. And let's just hope, Joe, that this whole thing has been resolved, that it's going to be clean of the slate, and Keith Hernandez can get on with his life and not have this rehashed again. I know he's clean from it all, and we hope that it will be entirely clean from baseball, that we can think about the most important thing again, and that's playing this game.
And have another game like last night.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, Joe, thanks.
Back to you, Bill.
Some of the headlines from what normally this time of the year talks about the divisional races. Here to bring us up to date on the Pittsburgh trial is James Polk.
1982, the St. Louis Cardinals win the World Series in a dramatic 7th game. In the outfield, Lonnie Smith. At first base, Keith Hernandez. On the mound, the winning pitcher, Joaquin Andujar. All 3 players taking cocaine throughout that season, hiding in hotel rooms, buying from drug dealers. Hernandez began using cocaine in 1980. He played 1 game that first year under the influence of cocaine, taking the drug so often he can't remember which game it was. All this came out this week in testimony in a Pittsburgh courtroom in the first trial in baseball's cocaine scandal. Hernandez had to miss part of the New York Mets pennant race to testify. Ronnie Smith sat out 2 games in the Kansas City Royals race in the American League West. Enos Cabell had to leave the Los Angeles Dodgers to testify. He will be back here Monday. So will Lee Lacy of Baltimore, still awaiting his turn on the witness stand. The prosecution has given all of them immunity to testify in the trial of this former cook for the Philadelphia Phillies, Curtis Strong. Hernandez, Smith, and Cabell all said they bought cocaine from Strong. The defense tried to discredit that testimony.
And as a result of their sickness, they have become junkies. And as a result of their being junkies, they are prone to lie.
But the testimony had the cold and chilling sound of sad truth. Hernandez told how for 3.5 years he snorted cocaine. It gives you a feeling of being up and on top of the world. Honestly, it was probably a demon in me, an insatiable urge. I woke up one morning with my nose bleeding and had the shakes. In my opinion, it could be the devil on this earth. Smith said he stopped in 1983 when he took so much cocaine in one night, he was so jittery he couldn't play. The Cardinals sent him to a hospital for treatment. Hernandez admitted he ignored a warning from Cardinals manager Whitey Herzog to come forward. He said he stopped when Smith came close to collapse, but St. Louis traded him the next week to the Mets anyway. Cabell said he used cocaine for 6 years, but began tapering off in Detroit when manager Sparky Anderson warned him. Cabell said, I was getting older and had too much to lose. Hernandez said that in 1980, what he calls baseball's romance year with cocaine, he thinks as many as 40% of all the major leaguers may have been taking the drug. But he said baseball began to kick its drug habit in 1983 when players saw Kansas City Royals like Willie Wilson go to jail for cocaine use. It will be another week or so before the jury decides Strong's fate, but for baseball, the verdict is already bad. The prosecution plans to call half a dozen more ball players to testify about their cocaine use next week. James Polk, NBC News, Pittsburgh.
And Gary Carter, who we heard from earlier, played first base last night. He filled in for Hernandez at first. Ron Reynolds was the catcher. And we'll return to New York.
3 home runs against San Diego one night, 2 more the next. Only the 13th player in big league history to blast 5 homers in 2 straight games as the Mets closed within 1 game of first place St. Louis in the East. Pittsburgh. A Cardinal duo, Mike Jorgensen to Ozzie Smith, and back for 2. Minnesota's Tom Brunansky. Dwayne Murphy, Oakland A's. Gary Pettis, California Angels. Tim Raines, Montreal. Expo teammate Herm Winningham. And finally, the Giants' Chili Davis. Now, let's get on. Old Spice salutes Keith Hernandez of the Mets. In a rare pinch hitting role, Hernandez delivered a clincher in the clutch, drilling a 9th inning homer to beat San Francisco 4-3.
Pinch hitting is not an easy job, and that's the first pinch hit home run of my career, even though I haven't pinch hit a lot. But I'm just very fortunate and very happy that I did it. It's the right time now that I'll get us up, and hopefully we'll move down to San Diego and do some damage.
Hernandez did just that against the Padres, going 5 for 5 for the 3rd time in his career as New York swept all 3 games in San Diego. Congratulations, Keith. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
On-the-job training in the big leagues from Mariano Duncan. It's a tough way to hack it, and now he's furious at something that was said. Lynch and Ray Knight and Duncan, and then all of the Dodgers join in the melee. But as Duncan struck out, he suddenly turned and looked out at Lynch, and here we go. Ray Knight, along with Ed Lynch, were able to double team Duncan. And no other blows were thrown to my knowledge. Let's take a look, if we can, at the strikeout and then watch Duncan walking away if we have it. Just watch now and see. Here's the swing for strike 3.
It was a slow curveball. He looked bad on it. He seems to just heading for the dugout.
Now he turns and he hollers at Lynch. Now plate umpire Davidson can't get him. Ray Knight grabbed him. Then Lynch is behind Knight, and then here comes the entire cast.
A couple punches landed there, but in a fight like that, everybody just takes a swing, and if you happen to be on the end of the fist, you're going to get it. Doesn't make any difference what color the uniform is.
It looked like one punch that was thrown. Rookie Ralph Bryant got one shot in, I think, on Ray Knight.
I think Guerrero got a couple shots in there because he was around the perimeter and he was bongo drumming somebody.
And, of course, Guerrero and Duncan are hometown kids.
And to get to him. Look at him. He's like a wild man in there.
And Knight is the one who's all wrapped up now in the far upper left-hand corner. Knight's going down. So I'm not saying that Lynch started it, but I could read his lips when he said...
He's banged out 2 hits today against the Chicago Cubs. That gives him 4,191 hits in his career, equaling the mark set by Ty Cobb. Rose wasn't even scheduled to play today, but when Chicago starter Steve Trout couldn't make it, he put himself in the lineup. There's a base hit, number 4,190 in the 1st inning. and Rose needed just one to tie. In the third, he grounded out, but in the fifth, he came to the plate against Reggie Patterson, and watch him. There's the tiebreaker. That's the one that equals Ty Cobb, and Rose could break the record yet today. Chicago leads Cincinnati 5-4 in the 8th inning. They're now in a rain delay. We'll keep you posted.
Back up the middle. Backman on the bag, throws to first. They get the double play. Backman and Hernandez turn it to get the Mets out of the inning and send us to the 10th.
Right here, Backman stepping on the bag, and Sosa just out at first. Sosa hit in one of the most important double plays in the World Series. It kept Fernando Valenzuela in the ball game. They would have pinch hit for him. So that one was a good one. This one was a bad one.
One hit, but nobody left, and we'll go to extra innings for the second time in 3 games. 2-2, 2 on, 2 out. Struck him out with a fastball. Rick Aguilera strikes out 2 in the 11th inning and leaves 2 Dodgers aboard, including the winning run at second base. And we'll go to the 12th, tied 3-3 after this.
Pirates won by the Mets. And here it is, the top of 14. Way back in left field. This ball hit well. This ball is out of here. Home run, Mookie Wilson. Of all the unlikely heroes.
Mookie Wilson, who had not started a ball game since July 1st. In his first starting assignment, comes up with a home run to put the Mets on top. Looks like a little screwball that didn't move over. His 4th home run of the season, and that is his 3rd home run as a right-hand batter. No chance at all, and the Mets take the lead 4-3.
And the batter, Wally Backman. Mookie's first home run since June 28th, when he hit one off John Tudor. And a bunt after this word from United Parcel Service. Unbelievable. Ground ball to second. That should do it. Backman got him. Mets win 4-3. And that was the story of Doug Sisk's efforts this afternoon. He came in the 13th, and he got 5 ground ball outs to Wally Backman. 5 out of the 6th. He also struck out the other batter. So the Mets win it 4-3. 4-13-1 for the Mets, and 3-6-3 for the Dodgers. Ralph and I will be back with a wrap right after these words.
The Mets had to go 14 innings, but they came away with a 4-3 win to pull within a 1/2 game of the Cardinals in the NL East. Now, they would have never gotten to extra innings if Wally Backman doesn't come up with the ball off the bat of Enos Cabell. That play saves a run early. This is a pennant race, and Gary Carter isn't saving anything. See you later time for Carter. Home run number 26. That makes it 1-0. Mets lead it. Billy Russell can't come up with it. Then with the score tied at 1 in the 8th, the Mets break in front on the wild pitch by Oral Hershiser. Rafael Santana side safely at home. It's 2-1 Mets. Then Keith Hernandez, the heart and soul of this team, knocks in his 77th RBI of the season. Mookie Wilson comes around the score to make it 3-1 Mets. But not for long. After a walk to Mariano Duncan starts the 8th, Jesse Orozco gives up the dinger to Bigfoot. Mike Marshall up and over the wall. We're tied at 3 until the 14th. Then Mookie steps up, making his first start since July 1st. That finishes off the Dodgers. See you later, L.A. The Mets win it 4-3. The Mets have earned tonight off before opening that series with the Cardinals tomorrow.
Yankees and New York Mets continue to keep their dream of a Subway Series alive. The Yankees, Ron Darling gets the biggest starting assignment of his young career as he will go to the hill for the Mets. The same is true for young Mr. Danny Cox of the Cardinals. A sellout crowd is expected for the game, and if you can make it to Shea Stadium, have no fear. Tonight's game will be carried right here on Channel 9 starting at 7:30 immediately following an early edition of News 9 Primetime. Now, both teams go into tonight's action with identical records of 82 wins and 53 losses. The Cards' 53rd defeat came at the hands of the pesky Chicago Cubs in St. Louis last evening. The final in that one, Cubs winning it 3-1. Mets and St. Louis Cardinals. The combatants are locked in a tie for first place in the NL East with just 27 games left to play. Game 1 of this 3-set will be carried right here on Channel 9 just minutes from this newscast. Carl Churkin is standing by live at Shea Stadium for a pregame report. Carl.
Well, Jimmy, they've been waiting 6 months for this. They've been playing 6 months, 135 games they've gone after one another and the rest of the National League, and they are tied, as you mentioned. Gary Carter had himself a heck of a 10-game road trip. He hit .474, 9 home runs, and 15 RBIs, and nobody's more ready for this series than Gary Carter.
We just know that we have to beat them, and it's just as simple as that. It's not a matter of letting other teams try and beat them or whatever. It's the showdown is now, and I'm just really happy that it's here now, beginning of September when it means the most, and if there's any time to prove it, it's right now.
You know, Montreal was picked for 6 straight years now in our division, never won, and they don't pick any winners. I've never been picked to win, and I've won 5 times the manager. So I kind of like that nobody thinks we can win. That's a good thing for us, and I think it's going to be an interesting season.
Another breaking ball, and this could be the ball game. Deep to left. Out of here. Gary Carter, a game-winning home run in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Mets win on opening day 6-5. 10 weeks into the season, the Cubs and Mets, the preseason favorites in the National League East, were running 1-2 with the Cards in third, 4.5 games out. Then, on August 10th, the Cubbies had dropped out of sight, and the Mets and Cards, with identical 65-42 records, were locked in a flat-footed tie, just as they are now. It's the team speed of the Cardinals that has kept them in the race. Rookie outfielder Vince Coleman leads the league in steals with 91. He'll steal second or third. It doesn't matter to him if you don't watch him. Coleman could help steal a pennant. Willie McGee has 42 steals. Everybody knew he could run, but he's hitting .362 with 179 base hits, leading the league in both departments. Jack Clark has been on the sideline for the past couple of weeks with a pulled muscle in his rib cage. His 21 homers and 84 RBIs are among the league leaders. He could return to the lineup any day now. But over the last month or so, nobody's been more productive than the Mets' own Gary Carter. He's just been tearing it up. 9 homers, 15 RBIs, batting .474 on the Mets' just completed 7-3 10-game road trip. So now you've got the lowdown on the showdown. It's the speed of the Cardinals against the power of the Mets. And it's all coming up next right here on Channel 9. The Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Pitching for the Cardinals tonight, Danny Cox, who is 15-8 with an ERA of 2.79. And going for the Mets, it's Ron Darling, 14-5 with an ERA of 2.66.
Ron Darling. And for the Cardinals on the bases. And a big strikeout as Coleman goes down. Darling gets his first.
Well, this is some kind of curveball right here. And Vince Coleman flails at it, comes up empty. A lot of hitters.
The Mets coming up. Now here's a word from manufacturers. Last 13 on the road. The Cardinals are home for 13 their last 16. And a base hit to center field for Mookie Wilson.
Well, that moo has been absent in this stadium for the last 2 months. And if you're a Mets fan, you got to be glad to hear that again. Mookie Wilson with problems with that shoulder. He had it operated on back on July 3rd, and his first start. Now let's check out how fast Mookie gets to first base. Of course, this is on a single right here. We'll be trying to have that little clock inserted for you on replays because
like there's no slouch in right field. They have a great defensive outfield, which is extremely important on AstroTurf. They play on AstroTurf in St. Louis. And now here's the batter, Keith Hernandez. And his welcome back to Shea after his testimony about cocaine use. Certainly abundantly good.
I would say quite a positive result here. A few boos, but I guess those were to be expected.
Well, Keith has admitted to the fact that he made the big mistake and that he deserves whatever he gets. Pitch, he'll be going here, and he is. And this one lined to left field, a base hit. Mookie on his way to third, and Coleman falls down. Mookie's being waved in, and he comes in to score, and the ball game is tied.
Ralph, you mentioned the infield being wet. Well, obviously the outfield is too. This ball skids away from Coleman. Then he throws it to cutoff man Ozzie Smith. Good hitting by Hernandez. Good running by Mookie Wilson. But bad base running by Keith Hernandez. There's Wilson right there. Let's see how fast it takes him to get from first to home. Boy, he's fun to watch. A little over 10 seconds, but Hernandez has got to be on second base right now.
So runners at first and second. And Foster the batter. George
prone to overstatement.
The Moon Man,
the
huh?
moon.
Got that information right from the horse's mouth.
Terry Tate is talking to Foster and telling him, you know, if you step out of there one more time, I may have to call a ball. George is saying it's Cox's fault.
In other words, he can instruct the Grove, I guess, is the #1 example in the American League. And he hit him. So Foster hit by a pitch. Cox walking up. He's ready to have a altercation here as it looks like we got a little action going here at Shea Stadium. Extracurricular action. So far, I haven't seen a punch thrown. It's just a messing around. Here comes the bullpen from right field and left field.
By the way, the Mets bullpen beat the Cardinal bullpen in, and here comes Tito Landrum.
Last one out, Tito Landrum. I didn't see a punch thrown, Tim, so it was just...
a lot of pushing and shoving and frustration on both sides. But not frustration, just anxiety more than anything else.
Well, there's a lot going right here today.
You know, Ralph, talking about Tito Landrum coming out of the bench as the last guy, there was remember the name Ellis Burton, an outfielder, a switch-hitting outfielder?
Right.
In the minor leagues, I played against Ellis on a number of teams, and he never came out to the field in a fight. And there was a story that he had a weapon in his pocket. So obviously, nobody ever went in the dugout to get him. The ball hit Foster on the right spot, a very padded area. And now George going out to the mound, but walking. Terry Tate heading him off. Strawberry in from second base. Ed Lynch, Ron Darling. The one thing you don't want is anybody to get hurt. Hernandez shoving Strawberry out of there. More than anything else, you don't want anybody hurt in an altercation such as this. I think baseball ought to be like hockey. Let the two main combatants go at it. Anybody else who jump back.
Whitey Herzog looking on, the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. He got the fastball deep to left field. It's going, gone, goodbye. A grand slam home run.
Frustrations of a long year more than Howard Johnson. Here in the 136th game, he gets one of the most dramatic blows of the year for the Mets. The 5th Grand Slam home run of the year, a fastball on the inside cart. Oh my goodness, no question about it. Boy, that's a happy ride when you go around the bases with that.
With a grand slam home run, and the Mets on top 5-1. Runs on 3 hits, and they leave none. And the score at the end of 1, the Mets 5 and the Cardinals 1. Now here's a word from Nissan.
Most of them while playing third.
And the club leader, 78. Jorgensen caught looking as Ron Darling picks up his 3rd strikeout, and he gets a 1-2-3 inning. The score at the end of 1. Curveball, goodbye.
And you don't think Andy Van Slyke knew it? That ball hadn't hit Carter's glove, and he had taken his first step to the dugout. Boy, this is some kind of pitching tonight by Ron Darling.
Ron. Ground ball is first. Hernandez bobbles it. Now to second. What a play, Santana. 1 out. Oh, boy. I don't blame you, Keith. Keith giving the way to go sign to Santana.
Santana pulled the fat out of the fire right here. The ball came up on Keith, hit him in the heel of the glove. He was still able to keep it under control, but short hopped Raffy, and Raffy, with Ozzie Smith bearing down on him, was able to come up with this short hop throw in spite of the fact that it was almost right on the feet of Ozzie Smith. Obviously.
Ground ball up the middle. Could be the end of the inning, and is. Roger McDowell dodges bullets here in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left. After 7.5, it's 5-4 New York. Now
5-4 New York lead in the first of 3 big ones. And a ground ball that McDowell should handle, and the Mets win. Roger McDowell picks up save number 13, and Ron Darling wins it to go 15-5 on the year. The loser is starter Danny Cox, who's 15-9. But the important numbers are a 1-game lead for the New York Mets in the National League East on September 10th. The Mets have now won 7 of their last 8 ball games and have finally overtaken the Cardinals. Tim and I'll be right back to wrap it up. Ralph is standing by with Kiner's Corner. New York hangs on to win it 5-4, and we're back at Shea after this word from Nissan.
It's going. The ball is popped up, and it will be a double play. Willie McGee with a bad base running mistake, and the Mets pull off a double play, and that's only the 74th double play that the Cardinals have hit into this year. That ends the inning, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning with no innings.
But after 7, it's no score. He is not running, and fastball is high to Ozzie Smith. 2 consecutive base on balls by Dwight Gooden here in the 8th inning.
Tough defensive position against the bunt.
And the bunt's a beauty. Hernandez to third for the force play. I have never seen a first baseman go that far for a bunt play, Ralph.
Almost impossible for Tudor to make the sacrifice. This is not a bad bunt. Look where Keith fielded it. And the throw to first base for the out. Tudor hustling down the line. No chance for the double play. So Keith Hernandez taking the bunt away from the pitcher, John Tudor. And there's Whitey's reaction to the play. Sort of conceding the fact it was a good play. Tie that record.
There goes Smith. The throw to third. Out at third base on a perfect throw by Carter. What a jump Smith had at second.
And what a throw by Carter. Herzog's going to come out to argue the call by third base umpire Terry Tatum. It down to third base, and the tag is made by
time. Boy, it was close. It looked like he got the hand in there, but boy, it's bang bang, wasn't it? The throw beats him, and the tag is made. Well, the call is out, and what was a on the reaction of the throw being there. Line drive down the right field line. Strawberry over. He'll have to hurry. The throw in. Tudor's being held. And Coleman rounded second base. Up. He would have been dead at the plate. Carter makes a very good sliding catch here, making sure the ball doesn't get by him as he sees the runner is popped up and playable. Ray Knight over. And that's the end of the 8th inning. And how Dwight Gooden and the Mets got out of that one, I'll never know. Well, he gets a fastball here. Might have been a little bit high, right on the border. And her behind it, popping it up. And Gooden has done it. There's Bill Robertson. He sees it go up. Davey's going to wait till it's caught. Now he goes. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 3 left. The Cards have stranded 5 in the last 2 innings. Scoreless game after 7.5. Here at Shea, no score. That evening they had Cedeno. And the curveball hit deep to left field. Back is Foster. It's going. It is gone. Goodbye. Cesar Cedeno with a home run. And the Cardinals lead 1-0 in the 10th inning. First base looking for defensive room. Here's the pitch. Struck him out on a fastball, and that's the ball game. John Tudor picks up his 18th victory against 8 losses. That is his 9th shutout of the year. He leads the majors, and he has won 3 in a row. What should I call? Heads or tails? 2-1 the count. Mookie running with the pitch is line into left center field, a base hit. Mookie on his way to third. And he goes in standing up, and a hit-and-run play puts runners at first and third. No one out here in the top of the ball game, the bottom of the first.
So Wally Backman executing very well, slapping that ball into left field. On the hit and run, Ozzie Smith was drawn out of position. Backman hitting where the hole was vacated, and the ball going into the
curveball hit on the ground. It'll be a double play. There's one and the other, but the Mets get a run. No run batted in for Keith Hernandez, as you cannot 2 sellout crowds in the first 2 games of this series. 3-2. Carter running, and the ball drilled to right. It's going, and it is off the ball. Carter will score. Ball played badly by Van Slyke, and Carter comes in and scores, and the Mets lead 2-0.
Darryl Strawberry tattooing this ball, hitting on top of it. When it left his bat, it looked like the ball was going over the wall. Van Slyke having problems. The ball hit the bottom of the fence, and Gary Carter hustling all the way around to score despite that bad leg. And another angle. Oh, he can hammer a ball.
You called it right, though. He got on top of that ball, put the overspin on it. It was a sinking line drive, and Strawberry with a double and a run batted in. Now the batter is Danny Heap. And it's drilled to right field. Out there is Van Slyke. It's over his head. Strawberry scores. Heap goes into second, and the Mets lead by a score of 3-0.
Again, Danny Heap driving in Darryl Strawberry. Boy, do we have some excitement this afternoon. And it's only the bottom of the first. Andy Van Slyke having a bit of a problem out there. And once again, the ball right there, Heap hitting on top of that ball. Ball sinking in a hurry once it got over Van Slyke's head. Another angle. And Van Slyke in pursuit, but the ball out of reach. And the Mets picking up another run as Strawberry came around to score, and Heap sliding into second base with a double. And the Mets have a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. That's great for a ball club.
It is outstanding for a ball club. This one drilled into right center field. Van Slyke off again. He can't get to it. Heap comes in to score. The Mets lead by a score of 4-0 as Johnson doubles. 3 consecutive doubles by the New York Mets. Strawberry, Heap, and Johnson. The Mets leading 4-0.
Oh, Joaquin Andujar has to be shaken up right now. Andujar giving up 4 hits in this inning. Check that, 5 hits, 3 doubles. There's Whitey Herzog. You tend to go with your better pitchers longer. And right here, Howard Johnson hitting a good pitch. That ball was going down and away and displaying a great deal of power. Van Slyke's got to be tired from running back to the wall.
Boy, he's had some accidents on 5 hits, and they leave 1. And the score at the end of 1 inning here at Shea Stadium. The Mets 4 and the St. Louis Cardinals nothing.
This year in Templeton a few years ago.
And this is a perfect bunt. No chance in the world to get Mookie Wilson. Boy, you just can't blueprint it any better than that.
This guy here's a changed offensive ball play. He walked his first time, scored a run. Here he's getting on base again by bunting for a base hit. Heads up play by Mookie Wilson. Another angle, Mookie bunting that ball perfectly down to third baseline. You know, Ralph, I mentioned before, sometimes you sit out for a couple months, you look at what you've done
for this series. There goes Mookie, another ball drilled on the right field line. This should score Mookie Wilson. Mookie coming around to score, and the Mets lead 5-0 as Backman comes through with another big base hit. Wally ending up at second base with a double.
4 doubles so far in this ball game for the Mets, and that'll be all for Joaquin Andujar. Whitey Herzog making his way to the mound. He gave Joaquin Andujar
2 to Harper. Bases remain loaded, 1 out. Another breaking ball grounded up the middle. Santana to Hernandez. Double play, and the Mets are out of it. The governor called a short reprieve for Roscoe.
Well, it couldn't have been hit any better for the New York Mets. A curveball again. Harper gets the bat on it, grounds it to Santana, who has it all the way. Mets turn their second double play of this ball game. They're 121st, and Davy Johnson takes a look. Boy.
Man, that's right. After 7.5, 6-5 New York. Ball hit well to left center. Dykstra back. This ball is out of here. Home run, Willie McGee. Oh, boy. Swing and a miss. He got him. That's the first strikeout for Orozco. However, the Cardinals come back to tie it on a home run by Willie McGee. 2 hits and 1 left. It's after 8.5, and the Mets will try to muster up something in the bottom of the ninth. 8.5 innings. Jams him with a fastball. Tough play for Smith. And Brian Harper can't make the play at first. And I assume. And it's a beauty. And Daly's going to tag Backman. And Mookie Wilson moves to second base. Base hit left field. Here comes Wilson. Coleman can't come up with it. Mets win 7-6. The Mets are in first place by a game.
the crowd staying for this great finish as Keith Hernandez ties the Major League record for game-winning RBIs with a single through the infield. Mookie coming in to score. The ball not handled by Coleman. I think that's academic, as Mookie would have scored anyway. And Hernandez getting the congratulations from the Mets. Mets winning 7-6 after blowing a 6-0 lead. Here's the base hit again, an inside swing that goes to the outside, and the ball hit in the hole right through, and Keith Hernandez, the former St. Louis Cardinal, has done it to his former teammates as the Mets win the series 2-1 in the game, 7-6, and take over first place.
There's the line score. Ralph and I will be back with a wrap right after these words.
Toronto, Phil Niekro gunning for number 300 for the Yankees. And at Shea this afternoon, Mets made a 2 out of 3 over the Cards, recapturing first place by 1 game. Mets beat the Cards in dramatic fashion 7-6 after 4 in the first. Wally Backman came through with this hit-and-run double and a 2-run second. 5-0 Mets off to a fast start as 20-game winner Joaquin Andujar did not have it. Knocked out in the second, and he's had problems as of late. But the Cards came back from 6-zip. Willie McGee doing it against Jesse Orozco, who gave up the game winner last night. Well, he served one up to McGee in the 9th today. Dykstra to the wall, but it's gone. Tied at 6. Met 9th, one-time Card. Keith Hernandez coming through. His 22nd game-winning RBI. The base hit scores Mookie Wilson to win it 7-6. After the game, Len Berman talked with Hernandez.
It was just a big win for us. It would have been a very tough loss for us and a very big win for them. Emotionally, because we squandered the lead, and it would have been a win for them that would have maybe have been carried them to the pennant. So for us to win that game, and great.
Heck of a way for you to get a win, isn't it?
I don't even know if I want that, but I'll take the team win.
And this is a fine all-around day for the Mets, who earlier faced the Cardinals in a coin flip for the home field advantage should there be a one-game playoff, should the Mets and Cardinals finish in a tie for first. National League President Chub Feeney doing the honors. Frank Cashin representing the Mets. Cardinal GM Dal Maxwell on hand for St. Louis.
You ready now? Here it goes, Paul. Head. Tails. I'll play at home. I thought you might. That'll be Monday, October 7th, time to be announced.
Thought for a moment they couldn't find the coin. Mets won the flip. If there is a one-game playoff, it will be out at Shea Stadium.
2.75. Going for the Expos, it's John Dobson, 0-1 with an ERA of...
McCarver and Steve Zabriskie all set for the final game of this series for the Montreal Expos. The Expos have won 2 of the 3 games played, and the Mets now are half game out behind the St. Louis Cardinals. So today, a big-time pitcher. Back again with a fastball. It's off of the glove of Tim Wallach. Mookie will have 2, and he'll go in with a stand-up double. So the Mets off and running here as Mookie gets a base hit. Batter's box.
Right.
1-1 pitch to Carter, and it's hit off of the leg of Dobson. It'll be a base hit. Mookie comes in to score. The Mets lead by a score of 1-0. And Carter with an RBI now has tied Keith Hernandez. He has 81. And this one hit out to deep right center field. It's way back, going, and it is gone. Goodbye. Danny Heap on the 3-1 pitch puts the Mets up as he has a 3-run home run, and the Mets are leading by a score of 4-0.
Well, an awfully big hit for Danny Heap, and John Dobson realizing now that when you fall behind big league hitters, you can do that in the minor leagues and they may pop it up. But when you do that to big league hitters, and Danny Heap is certainly that, they beat on that ball. This ball right down Broadway. It doesn't stay there very long. I mean, he crushed this ball to the deep part of right center field. Mets up 4-0.
So Danny Heap with his 7th home run of the year, a big one, playing in place of Darryl Strawberry. And Danny Heap coming through with the big blow, and now time is called.
Another 2-2 pitch. And it's popped up and could be playable in foul territory out third. Johnson to the wall. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Howard Johnson with a fine play over that plexiglass on top of the wall for the third out of the inning.
And this could be the play of the game right here to get Wallach out as he represented the tying run. And Johnson using the top of that fence for a little leverage and going high in the air to get to it. Unfortunately, no fans there to get in his way. Fine play.
Excellent play. Orozco comes in and pitches out of it. 2 hits, but 2 left, and the Mets still lead it 5-2 going to the 9th. With the 2 doubles and now his 5th home run of the year. And the Mets get some extra insurance as they lead it 6-2.
Well, Mookie gets all of this one. It's down and away, and he jumps all over it. And Mookie coming up with his 13th hit against Montreal this year.
And goes after the first pitch, and he pops it up. And Hernandez in foul territory squeezes it, and the Mets win it 6-2. Jesse Orozco retires 5 in a row to pick up save number 16, and Ron Darling has now won 6 in a row. He's 16-5. We'll be right back to wrap it up. Stay with us. The Mets win at 6-2 in Montreal, and we're back after this for Metropolitan Life.
Turned in another one of those sterling pitching performances of his and added 2 hits as the Mets bombed the Phils 9-0 at Shea Stadium last night. The win helped the Mets to stay within 1 game of the front-running St. Louis Cardinals in the NL East standings. Pick it up in the top of the 3rd in this one, gang. Mets leading at 1-0. The doctor on the hill. Yes, there is a doctor in the house as he throws some heat past Juan Samuel to protect that 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd, Gary Carter. Gooden's battery mate dials 8 for long distance. A 3-run homer, number 28 for Carter. The Mets lead it 4-0. Bottom of the 4th, Mookie Wilson, a triple. 1 of 3 hits for Wilson. And you can see by the way he went down and got that pitch, he is seeing and hitting the ball well. Drives in Howard Johnson and Gooden to make it 6-0 Mets. And then Gooden took complete charge. Fanning the side in the top of the 5th. Tim Foley with a breaking ball. Rick Shue upcoming, heat for a seat. And John Russell with a wicked yacker there. Gooden finished with 11 Ks on the night, giving up just 2 hits. Bottom of the 5th, Gooden gets into the hitting act. A 2-run double, one of his 2 hits on the night. And the Mets cruise from there. Gooden with a big smile on his face as he pulls into second base, says, I can hit as well as pitch. I know I can. You definitely can, Dwight. Final again, Mets win it 9-0. Gooden 21-4 on the year. Lowers his ERA to 1.62 and his scoreless innings streak to 31, tying the Mets club mark by Tom Seaver and Jerry Koosman. And yes, he got 2 hits as well. The Mets win helped them to remain 1 game behind the surging St. Louis Cardinals, who just refuse to lose these days. They swept a doubleheader from the Pirates in Pittsburgh yesterday as the
Standing final month of the season. So the Mets on top by a score of 4-0 as they play the Philadelphia Phillies. Mookie Wilson golfs out a triple, and scoring ahead of Mookie, Howard Johnson and Dwight Gooden. Mookie, of course, with that great speed, able to make it a 3-base hit, and the Mets have a lead now of 6-0 over the Philadelphia Phillies. Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets in the top of the 9th. He runs his scoreless streak to 31 innings with his 11th strikeout, and the Mets win it by a score of 9-0. But alas, the Mets lose a half game as the Cardinals win 2 against Pittsburgh. And now, on Tuesday, it's Ozzie Virgil with his 19th home run off Ed Lynch, and with Glenn Wilson aboard, it's 2-0 the Philadelphia Phillies. In the top of the 4th inning, Jeff Stone singles to right. And Stone with that base hit just by Gardenhire scores a runner. It's Rick Shue crossing the plate, and the Philadelphia Phillies are leading by a score of 5-0. Shane Riley gets Ray Knight to hit into a game-ending double play, and the Phillies win the ball game by a score of 5-1. Mets now 2 games away as the Cardinals won their ball game. Then on Wednesday, trailing by 2 games, in the top of the 3rd inning, a bunt by Steve Trout, a play by Aguilera to 3rd that goes awry, but Foster backs it up. A no-run score there, but they do score later and do take a 2-1 lead. Then it's this drive by Ray Knight into the corner to put the Mets up by 2 as Carter scores. And the Mets also get another runner across to Strawberry scores, and they take the lead by a score of 3-2. Strawberry with his 24th home run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and that makes it a 4-2 ball game for the New York Mets. McDowell comes into the ball game and gets Jody Davis for his 15th save, and the Mets have a 4-2 win. Good play by Santana and the high hoppers. The force play is at second base to Backman. So the Mets on top by 4-2, and they stay 2 games back as the Cardinals also won their ball game. On Thursday, the Mets cut the lead to 1 game as the Cardinals lost for the first time in 7 ball games, and that home run by Gary Carter off Fontenot, the 29th. Strawberry follows with his 25th home run. Fontenot still the pitcher. And this one goes into the Big Apple hat out in center field. And Foster comes up with a 2-run home run, his 19th home run of the year. And Sid Fernandez comes up with a big win as they win at 5-1. The only hit, Gary Matthews' home run that you saw back in the 3rd inning. Fernandez picking up a strikeout on Dunston for his 11th strikeout of the ball game. And now it's Ron Darling on the mound. R.J. Reynolds doubles to left, knocking in Joe Orsulak, and it's 4-2. Mets do fight back as Rusty Staub singles to right field, scoring Dykstra his 99th pinch hit. And the Mets are now trailing by 2. The Mets get it tied at 5-5 in that same inning. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Hurdle comes up, and Orsulak makes a great play in center field to save the ball game. Mookie Wilson was on third base with a winning run when that catch was made. That takes it down to the 11th inning. And bad luck for the Mets as the bad hop bounces over Hernandez's head. A run scores to make it 6-5, and then Pittsburgh picks up another run, and they win the ball game by a score of 7-5.
The first K goes up out in left field. Meanwhile, Hubie Brooks singled Tim Raines home, so the Expos have a 1-0 lead on the Cards. With Dwight Gooden's scoreless inning streak snapped at 31, Rick Rhoden taking the games up before he goes on the road. And a leadoff walk to move. She has since built up. Opposite field by Backman, and it's a fair ball on extra bases. Wilson is going to score. Just like that, the game is tied. Backman will be stopped at second.
Backman, like so many other pesky wood-tick type players, will take what you give him. He had Gonzalez uptight at third when they'll just slap it by him on the ground. He ends up with a double. He was going to left field all the way, trying to push it by the third baseman.
A single tied the game at 5 apiece as the Mets rallied for 3 after trailing 5-2. Trotstack is disabled. Hit hard, could be 2. Khalifa can't handle it. The bases are loaded. Gets away. Here comes the go-ahead run, and the others move up.
Well, was that an 0-2 slippery one that Junior so far today?
Scores. Carter is stopped. Runners at the corners with 1 out and a 3-1 lead. And more. Base hit. And it's into that unprotected left field corner. They didn't think he'd pull Rhoden. Instead, he takes him to left field for a double. It's 4-1 New York.
It's almost an example, Bob, of a defense and a pitcher not in coordination with one another. You play him the opposite way as though you're going to run either a slider, a cut fastball, or a fastball away, force him to hit late, pitch him outside, play him, and he got a curveball that was down an off-speed pitch that he allowed him to pull against the way the defense was playing.
Gooden steps up as the 9th hitter and drives one to deep left. Way back, 22 now seems all but assured. Afterwards, he'll only want to talk about this.
Dwight Gooden comes out for an encore. So Tom Seaver had 18 base hits in 1971, and what a way for Dwight Gooden to tie him. That was his 18th, a 3-run home run. Now I understand Davy Johnson's strategy. He wanted Gooden to get up to the plate.
You don't want to take the bat out of Gooden's hands. A 7-1 lead, and a big smile in the New York dugout. And the glow around this young man shines just a little bit brighter. Add a home run, his first in the majors, to his long list of accomplishments. And moments ago, the curtain call.
You know what this does as you look down the road, this game is far by over with, but Davy Johnson.
And the Mets pick up another run. It's now 4-1.
So runners at third and second, and Dwight Gooden the batter. And Gooden hits it out to deep left field. It's way back. R.J. Reynolds on the warning track. He jumps, and it is gone. Goodbye. Dwight Gooden with his first major league home run.
Dwight Gooden's happier hitting that home run than when he won his 20th ball game.
No doubt about it. He's been talking about the fact that he was going to get a home run. He had predicted Wrigley Field.
Well, we're going to watch it again. Dwight Gooden won a tape of this. A hanging breaking ball. Dwight Gooden, who's a good hitting pitcher, hits the ball over the wall, and a very happy Dwight Gooden. A 3-run homer for the Met right-hander.
Look at that home run trot.
Boy, and the fans here really reacting to Gooden's 3-run homer. You saw the apple making its appearance. The fans going wild. And Dwight Gooden tagging them all. Another look at it. What a first 2 years this kid has had in the big leagues. Of course, as Ralph mentioned, he's been talking about this home run for so long. And in the background, the fans' reaction to the Diamond Vision board. And Dwight Gooden hitting that home run. Another angle. Dwight Gooden, I think Ralph's going to want a shot of all these angles, too.
Well, that home run by Dwight Gooden gives him his 18th hit of the year, and that ties him with Tom Seaver for the most hits ever by a New York Met pitcher.
A 6-run cushion. Conservatively, it should be more than enough for that guy.
New York, baseball's Cinderella champions. They were amazing. Now Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter lead a new generation of Mets in their drive for the pennant as they face the Pirates, or the Cardinals meet the Expos. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting.
He'd been practicing this home run trot. There's the reaction, and he just Cadillacs it around the bases. He put it in cruise control, and it took him about 30 seconds to get around.
You think it's a toss-up who the best athlete is?
That 1970 Met attendance isn't just a franchise record. It's a New York City baseball attendance record, including the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Giants. And they'll likely surpass it this season with 4 more home dates remaining.
And the story's so great. Look at this.
Another base hit. It's 8-1 New York, and Gooden is 2 for 3, and the only time they retired him, he hit a blue dart at Gonzalez at third base.
down the stretch the day he's
Ducks, an essay entitled, I believe, Hub Fans Bid Kid Adieu. And he said that every time Williams came to the plate in the middle of an otherwise dreary Boston order, it was like you were riffling through a bunch of old magazine covers and a Rembrandt had been wedged in between and it went by. Johnson has to think about the possibility of getting him out of there before this is over to conserve his energy, but not before he gets his third base hit. Santana heads for third.
He's got that bat splintered in 3 different areas. One in front of the third baseman, Gonzalez. One halfway between third base and the... He's getting a standing ovation for his 3-hit ball game.
Leading a charmed life, even when the bat is broken in 2. It's a little flair for a 3-for-4 afternoon. There are the...
and getting wider.
High fives, low elbows, all kinds of celebrations.
Styled by Steve Horn and Jeff Simon. What Gooden has done his first 2 seasons as opposed to Nolan Ryan, Walter Johnson, the big train.
Somewhere along the line, the Expos have beaten them 9 times in 13 tries.
That's in that lineup. Take it deep.
Staub with another base hit. Everybody gets into the act. Rusty Staub is now the 10th player in Major League history with 100 pinch hits. That's the century mark for him.
An appreciative standing ovation for Rusty. There goes the restaurant business, Rusty. They're all flocking over tonight. He said since the Mets have got really involved in this pennant race, he said he can't...
Sarcasm. And there is another base hit. All right, he's going to scamper to third and say that'll do it. Now the throw gets by, but Rusty just tantalizes a bit by dancing down the line.
Wally back.
Could be 2, not that way. Oh, maybe yet. Yeah. Yep, Gonzalez doesn't run that well. And even though Johnson didn't handle it cleanly, they turn it 5-4-3.
Gonzalez didn't get a very good jump out of the box. It looks like the wheels were skidding. He stole 40 bases scoring runs.
Santana has it. So on the soft liner by LeMaster, the ball game is over. The Mets win it 12-1. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, Vance Law grounded out. Raines holding at second. The Expos are down to their last out, but it's Andre Dawson, who earlier in the ball game had a grand slam. Cardinals lead 7-6. Raines at second.
For Montreal, Joaquin Andujar on the mound. And look at that play by Keith Hernandez. Outstanding defensive play by Keith Hernandez as he does a Olé.
Well, it was a bad hop the other night that gave the Pirates the victory, and here Keith stayed right with it. This ball was smoked, had a lot of overspin on it, and really took off. But boy, what great hands he has. The ball actually behind him.
So it's 9 in a row after giving up 4 straight base hits for Terry Leach, and he's...
The Cardinals won with a 2-run homer. This one, speaking of homers, could be out of here. Off the wall. Hernandez will have to hurry, and Wilson, the ball by Wilson. Hernandez will go to third. This throw over the head of Shue, backed up by Tolliver. A triple for Keith Hernandez.
Well, if Wilson had fielded the ball cleanly off the fence, it would have been a single. But the ball bounces by Wilson. He falls down, gets up, and Wilson, with one of the great arms in baseball, fires it all the way in on the fly over the head of the third baseman. It's backed up by Tolliver. And Hernandez goes in with a 3-base hit. Wilson has had 18 assists in the outfield. That leads the National League. And when you run against his arm, you really have to go. Look at this throw all the way over the head of the third baseman, but backed up by Tolliver.
How many times do you see an outfielder on the ground twice? Long drive, left center field. This ball is out of here. Gary Carter with home run number 30, and the Mets are on top 2-0.
Carter. And the Mets on top 2-0. As Gary comes up with his 21st home run here at the Vet. And it's his 5th home run against Philadelphia this year. In 1978, he had 7 home runs here at the Vet against the Phillies. So Carter putting the Mets on top 2
here at the Vet.
There's another angle of it, and Carter, with that strength of his, drives it out of the ballpark, and there's no doubt about it as it goes off the back wall.
1-0 pitch. Ripped to right field, a base hit. Foster will score. The ball bobbled by Wilson as Santana goes to third. Base hit and an RBI for Mookie Wilson. It's 3-0 New York. For the Phillies. Line drive, but Stone can't get to it. Dykstra's going to score. Backman's going to go at least to second. And he pulls up there with a stand-up double. A key hit by Wally Backman. Mets up 4-1.
It's got a great pitching performance from Sid Fernandez en route to a 7-1 win over the Phillies. Fernandez handcuffed the Phils on just 2 hits as the Mets held their ground in the National League East pennant race. The Mets gave El Cid an early lead and he went to work. Heat for a seat to Glenn Wilson. Some inside gas to Ozzie Virgil. Never stood a chance. And a wicked curveball to punch out fellow pitcher Dave Rucker and get out of a bases loaded jam in the second. 9 Ks for El Cid en route to his 2nd complete game Major League win. Top of the 3rd, Rafael Santana triples off the glove of Glenn Wilson, and he later scored on a wild pitch to make it 2-0. Bottom of the 3rd, defensive play of the game turned in by Larry Boa. Runners at 1st and 2nd. Boa, normally a shortstop, shows how a second baseman should make the brilliant over-the-shoulder catch and then turns around and completes a spectacular double play. Well done, Mr. Boa. Top of the 8th, runners at 1st and 3rd. Gary Carter picks up his 28th RBI in his last 24 games. Mets lead it 3-0. Bottom of the 8th, George Foster catches one of the 17 fly balls given up by Fernandez on this day the hard way, and Sid walks off and says, I'll take it any way it comes. Final again, the Mets win it 7-1. Sid Fernandez 8-9 on the year. Keith Hernandez got the game-winning RBI in the contest. It was his 23rd of the year, a new Major League record. But all that didn't help the Mets gain any ground in the front-running St. Louis Cardinals. The Cards made it 5 wins in a row as they continue to tantalize the Mets as they stop to maintain a 3-game lead over the Mets with 11 to play. Things are getting tense and time is getting short for the Mets.
This ball hit the deep right field. It's way back. And it is gone goodbye. Darryl Strawberry with a 2-run home run. And the Mets lead it by a score of 5-2.
Kept sitting on that fastball away. He finally gets it and hits a tremendous shot, and boy, he loves to hit in this ballpark. He had his first Major League home run here in 1983 off Lee Tunnel. You give him a chance to extend his arms. I mean, he just crushes ball. He hit that ball effortlessly, didn't he?
Another broken bat, and in comes Strawberry, and Darryl Strawberry makes the catch. Fine play by Strawberry as we check with Len Burmorick, the veteran, to his left. Darling, a Yale product. Speaks old Gooden, Andahar, Tudor. Fair ball, and now Browning.
Watch him go. He may have 3 the way he runs.
Heading for 3rd, and a leadoff triple for Mookie Wilson.
Like this, like the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're really their first legitimate pennant race, you start recognizing when they get more exposure how good some of these players are. They go unheard of when you're finished.
1 out now. That'll get the run home. Hernandez around first, heading for second. The throw is over Ray's head. Green backs up. The Mets have 4 hits, all of them for extra bases. 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer.
I don't know who's better in baseball in that kind of situation. Man on third, less than 2 outs, driving him home. Keith Hernandez still sure ranks in the top 5. He had been gotten out by Kipper in the 4th inning. Ground ball right back to Kipper on a curve.
Thank you, Bob. Bottom of the 6th in Montreal. Here's the extra good news for Mets fans. Andre Dawson with his home run to left off Joaquin Andujar. So it's 2-0 Expos now after 6 complete. All right, Bob and Tony, back to you.
Struck him out. Second time Aguilera has failed Reynolds today as we
1-2. Fastball got him swinging. And so it's up to the Mets now to narrow the gap. For 6 out of 7 times, Montreal has beaten St. Louis here in the Big O, and this is the first game of a doubleheader.
From right through spring training that we're going to get a lot of innings and complete games. Of course, Gooden sets the pace there. That's what it looks like right now.
outside and on the corner for a called 3rd strike. Gary Carter may have pulled that one back in just a little bit.
Lescano's not going to quit his argument. That is what you call framing the outside corner. Carter, with that umpire with the inside protector sitting, he is throwing Lescano out of the ball game. And with the umpire sitting on the inside corner, if the catcher moves out many times, he might lose track. He's actually got to look through the...
I'll tell you.
Did he go around? Yes, he did. And Carter held the ball. So Orozco comes on with the bases loaded and 1 out. And gets Lescano looking and Reynolds swinging. The Mets win it by a score of 3-1, and at this instant are 3.5 back of the Cardinals. And the Cardinals have failed thus far today to reduce their magic number, which was 5 as the day began. The light beer from Miller Most Valuable Player is Rick Aguilera with an honorable mention to Jesse Orozco. Light beer from Miller is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of that young man, Rick Aguilera, to help fight multiple sclerosis. Aguilera.
Congratulate Orozco for picking up a big save.
So the Mets win it 3-1 as Rick Aguilera goes 8, Orozco with the save, and Ralph and I will be back with a wrap right after these words. Right after this word from Bud Light.
Cheer. Mets doing their best to take it right down to the final weekend if possible. They're 4 games behind the Cardinals, and that's the magic number. 4 games, the magic number 4, with 7 to play.
And another line drive by Backman. This one will go all the way to the wall into left center field. Wally will have at least 2. Reynolds kicked it a moment, but comes up with it and holds Backman to a double.
You mentioned one.
And he rips one to right field for a base hit. Here comes Backman, and the ball gets by Mike Brown. Backman will score easily, and Hernandez is going for 3rd. He will make it without a play. A single and an RBI for Hernandez and a 2-base error on Mike Brown to allow Hernandez to go to 3rd.
Hernandez looking fastball. He was looking fastball 2-0 and took the curve. He rips it to right, an RBI single for Hernandez, who ends up all the way to 3rd base. It's going to be a heater, though.
There it is, and it's ripped to center field for a base hit. Hernandez will score, and the ball is dropped by Reynolds. Strawberry scores. Johnson going to 2nd, and he's going to be caught in a rundown. And now Heaps between 3rd and home. Johnson going into the bag, safe at 1st, and the Mets still have runners at 1st and 3rd, leading now 3-0.
Just absolutely splendid base running by everybody concerned. Strawberry had stopped, waved on after the stop when Reynolds missed the ball. Reynolds hits the cutoff man. Johnson taking the extra base after Heap took the extra base on the bobble. And now watch Johnson go around Bream. The stop could have been out of the baseline there, but Joe West, the first base umpire, didn't think so. And I mean an absolutely splendid job by everybody on base. Set up by that throw. Now Bream to Johnny Ray. Now watch Ray look at Heap at 3rd. He's a little bit too concerned about Danny. He wanted to throw the late throw. Johnson, I think Johnson's out of the baseline on that play. Not called by...
The pitch grounded to short. Khalifa short hops it. Will have to go to first. A run scores as Heap comes in from third to make it 4-0. And on the play, Johnson safe at second now with 2 away. And he is. And is it a fair or foul ball? Fair ball. And a double play. Home plate umpire Frank Pulley called it right away. Carter alertly threw to third and over to first for the double play.
Yes, sir. Gary Carter completing the play. He didn't hear the umpire. He says, leave that umpiring up to the umpire. Sid Bream, on the other hand, just stood there. And watch Bream. He stands there. Carter completes a play. And that ball is fair territory. What a great shot. Man. That showed the ball was clearly fair, and Johnson also completing the play for the big double play. I remember when Floyd Robinson with the White Sox back in the late 50s drove in over 100. This ball well hit to center, way back, deep to center, out of here. Home run, Darryl Strawberry. The Mets lead it 6-3.
Darryl likes this ballpark. This is the 6th home run this year he has hit against Pittsburgh pitching. And in this park, he has hit some long drives, and this is one of them. Right out of the deepest part of this ballpark.
Left fielder, Danny Heap.
When he first hit it, it looked like he hit it off the end of the bat, but it just went out of here in a hurry.
Goodness. Boy, he can put some charges into balls.
That's a new career high for Strawberry in home runs now, his 27th of the year.
Danny Heap, the batter.
Shot by Tim Wallach in the 6th.
Boy, these pennant races take your emotions and bounce them from side to side.
Rafael Santana and Tom Paciorek scheduled up.
Morrison, fair ball, and Howard Johnson with a great play, but he has no throw. In scoring position by snagging this ball.
So Howard Johnson making the diving stop, and he really came down hard, knocking the air out of his chest.
It's for the Pirates, and they have taken the lead 7-6 as we go to the 9th inning here at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. The crowd is on its feet.
Really playing tough against the Mets.
Fastball drilled into right center field. They won't catch up with this one. It's off the top of the wall. A home run for Howard Johnson as it hit the facade behind the interior wall, and Hojo has tied the game in the 9th inning.
Johnson drills this ball on the line over the right center field fence. Ball hits in back off the wall in back of the fence, and a home run for Johnson, his 11th home run. And the pressure, at least momentarily, is off the Mets as you see the reaction. Here's a final score. The Montreal Expos have defeated the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 7-5. Montreal 7 runs, 8 hits, and 3 errors. Big home run in that ball game. Montreal winning 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals in Montreal. Now the Cardinals go home, have a day off tomorrow, and take on the Mets Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night.
And the Cardinals were able to win only. Montreal has already defeated St. Louis. Struck him out on a breaking ball, called strike 3. It's 7-7. And we will go to the 10th inning here at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh as Orozco does the job in the 9th under some adverse conditions.
For finesse.
Now he comes back with a fastball. It's grounded to right field. So Keith Hernandez singles to right. With 1 out here in the 10th inning, that brings up Gary Carter.
And Sid Bream guarding the line at first base. If he's normally in normal position for...
He has walked twice. was aboard when Strawberry homered. And this ball hit out to deep left field. It is going. It is gone. Goodbye. Gary Carter does it again.
I don't know about you, pal, but I got goosebumps, and you can see them. Check them out. Gary Carter with his 32nd home run of the year. That is his all-time high in home runs. He had 31 back in 1977, and the Mets take a 9-7 lead.
And the batter is Darryl Strawberry, and that's a foul ball for a strike. His 97th and 98th runs batted in on the year.
On a high fastball from Larry McWilliams. Right now, but had he been there, Hernandez wouldn't have been on first when Gary Carter did this. High fastball right around the letters, and as you've seen so often this season, you see Carter exhaling when he swings. Man, he exhaled that one. He blew that ball right over the left field fence. Man, hit it a ton.
Ball inside. Appears to be very calm. You can bet he isn't. And the curveball hit on the ground to Backman deep at second. The throw to Santana, and another good play by Santana, and the Mets win it by a score of 9-7. And the magic number stays at 4. So Jesse Orozco gets the victory. He staggered through it, but he picked up his 7th win against 6 losses. And this is the last play.
Wally Backman playing way out in right field. Comes over and makes the play to Santana, who has to hop out of the way. And Jesse celebrating his 7th victory of the year. And look at the reaction of the New York bench in the dugout. They know what's happened. They know they are now only 3 back of the Cardinals going into St. Louis for the big 3-game series.
And so in the inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. The final score in 10. And we'll be back with a recap and an interview in just a moment right after this message. It's the Mets 9 and the Pirates 7.